Welcome everybody. First item up would be to approve the meeting agenda. Anything in the agenda needs discussing?
I would like to request that, as I have in the past, contracts, so items F and G on consent, be moved to business items.
So it would be B and E. Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. Anything else? Barbara?
Nope.
All right. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Andrew. You have a second?
A second.
Second by Molly. Okay, any discussion on the agenda? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Agenda carries. Opportunity for visitors to address the board. Anybody here to address the board? Okay, we'll move on. We have some acknowledgements. We have the Viking Gala Committee, the Hall of Fame Committee. Principals, it's October is National Principal Appreciation Month. Custodians, October 2nd was National Custodian Appreciation Day. Mr. Corp, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, thank you to the Gala Committee for all their work on another successful Viking Gala, which helps raise money for education here at ISD 548. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for all their time and work of selecting the members of the Hall of Fame and Teacher Honor Roll. Thank you to Mrs. Januszewski and Mr. Nelson for all their work and their leadership. And I want to thank the custodians for everything they do, their hard work in keeping our buildings clean and safe.
Thank you. So we have a presentation, Mrs. Monter and Mr. Corf, A&I and CACR presentation. Welcome.
Good evening. So our Achievement and Integration Annual Progress Report, this is for last year, so all of this information is going to be on the 24-25 school year. So just a quick reminder, the A&I is a 3-year plan, so our current plan is 23 to 26. The reporting year is the 2nd year. We're in our 3rd year of the plan, and we're going to be writing a new plan, which will be due to MDE in March of this year. Really, A&I comes down to opportunity. It's just equal opportunity for all students is really what all the goals come down to. And there's 3 types of goals. It's closing the achievement gaps, equitable access to effective and diverse teachers, and racial and economic integration. So the first goal then is an achievement goal, and this is our MCA reading proficiency rates for the free and reduced population students will increase by 3% a year. So our target was 37.2 or more, and our actual was 37.9, and that was 5.9% over the state. So that goal was met. Goal number 2 is our reading proficiency rate. Again, we wanted that to increase by 3% a year. Our target was 32.8% or more. Our actual was 34.2%. And on this one, we were 8.4% over the state. So this goal was met as well. The next page will talk about different strategies that we use to support this goal. These, the core literacy support for students. So that includes teachers, programs, and curriculum. We have the OL and L training at the high school, Language Arts 180 course, the Read 180 Universal Program, and our Young Adult Literature elective course. At Viking Elementary, we have the letters training, the Bridges Math curriculum and training. And then at both schools, we have individualized instruction with licensed teachers, differentiated instruction and targeted interventions, and our Viking Student Success Program. So again, that target was met Any questions on those programs? We also have family engagement initiatives. So at Viking Elementary, it's continuing with scheduled conferences and family night events. The target has been 90% or more of Viking Elementary students will continue to attend parent-teacher conferences. And this year, the average was 94% that attended. The family night events, for the Title I family nights, there was an average of 100 parents and students that attended. And then they also created a new family program called Numbers with the Neighborhood. So there was approximately 326 parents and adults that attended that event this year. On the next page, the other strategy that we have is early intervention for students needing academic support. So at the high school, we wanted to increase our outreach to identify parents and create new pathways to increase conference attendance and parent involvement. So what we did is our identified parent group is at-risk students who have mid or end quarter Ds and Fs. So our target was the percentage of identified parents attending would increase by 5% a year. Our baseline of 44% was established in 23-24. So our target then was 49% for this year. Our actual was 55%. In addition, we set a new target. So in addition to attending conferences, we also wanted to increase involvement. And so increasing involvement was things like contacting the school. So this year, our actual is 79.5% of at-risk parents attended conferences or contacted the school. So our outreach to parents of at-risk students has continued to expand. That also includes contact by the high school counselor at mid and end of quarter via letter, text, or email. It provides information about our homework help program and requests parents to schedule appointment to create an action plan for the students. And our high school counselor also schedules meetings focusing on juniors and seniors who are at risk of not graduating on time. Questions? A&I Goal 3 then on the next page is a teacher equity goal. This goal is to maintain student access to more effective and diverse teachers by continuing to provide staff development in the areas of culture, race, ethnicity, and poverty for 100% of district teachers each year between 2023 and 26. So one of the strategies that we've had with this goal is educational career opportunities. That's just been an effort to continue efforts to develop teachers from within. So we are fortunate to have highly qualified, diverse staff in our schools, but we've also set a goal to have some of our students pursue educational careers. So we've had an intro to education course, and now we have an early childhood education course. So our original target was to have 62.5% of diverse students enrolled in those education courses. Our actual is 57%. And so that target was not met, but we're thinking maybe this would be a goal that we might look at, just looking more at the diversity of all staff. Professional development is the second strategy that we have in this area. So to continue to focus on academic achievement of all students and provide staff development that strengthens knowledge around culture, race, ethnicity, poverty, and other challenges by increasing our capacity to understand and accept others. Target 100% of our teachers participating, and we did meet that target. The strategies or the staff development trainings that we had in 24-25, we had our foundational leadership programs, our 7 habits of highly effective people and leader in need. Our new teachers also received all of that training. Viking Elementary has continued with their Lighthouse teams. They also had meetings with reps from Franklin Covey during the fall workshop and letters training for all pre-K teachers that teach language arts. At the high school, we had someone presenting to certified teachers at fall workshop and work one-on-one with the PLCs the training about strategies to support ELL students. We had speakers, we had Dr. Adolph Brown, his rags to riches, who talked to staff and students last year, and also Amberly Snyder sharing her story with staff. Questions on that?
Becky, would you mind going back to, it's in goal number 2, it's number 3, and goal number 2, early intervention for students needing academic support. And you might have mentioned this. I see the target of 49%. I see the actual of 55, and then I see 77% fall of 24, 33% spring of 25. What would you attribute the, I mean, when I look at that, it seems like there's 44% less attendance.
In the spring.
In the spring. So what would you attribute that? To me, it seems very significant. Is there something that stood out to you or stood out to the
I think that's been a trend with our fall to spring.
that big a look at it?
I want to, well, this was last year. We did have one spring where it was, the weather was really poor. I don't remember if that was last spring, but typically our spring numbers are much, much lower.
However, the good thing is with that newer target where we're also contacting parents, encouraging them to get in touch with the school, that's increased quite a bit. So at least we're making contact with those families, so we're not just relying on conferences.
Skyward helps a lot with parents.
Answer your question.
I mean, and maybe the answer isn't here tonight. It's just, you look at 1 out of every 3 compared to 3 out of every 4 from an attendance perspective between the 2 fall and spring benchmarks. I just think that opportunity, and you had mentioned there's additional outreach and there's additional connections above and beyond the conferences, and I can appreciate that. You know, we all have our own opinions on what's good and what's not so good. I just think parent-teacher conferences are so good, and I think everybody would agree with that. To see that significant of a disparity between the 2 just seems a little unique to me. And it could be weather, I don't know. But it's nothing further I need to figure out right now tonight if we don't have any real information to identify that disparity or explain that disparity.
I think that's why that new target is even more important, because some parents are maybe more comfortable texting and communicating that way versus coming in and or emailing, and at least we're getting some contact rather than just relying on one. Plus then we're not just tied to one date. So if you do have bad weather or somebody has something going, these are other ways that they can still communicate.
Thank you.
Anything else on that one? Okay, our last goal then, the ANI 4, is our integration goal. And Kelsey Lage, our high school counselor, will be working with me on this part of the program. She's taking Mr. Brueggemann's place, so we're really excited about that. The goal here is the percentage of students participating in cultural immersion, events, activities with increased understanding and comfort levels with students different from themselves will increase by 5% a year. So originally we had 60% in 2023 and we wanted to get to 75% by 2026. Our partnering districts are the same that we've had Battle Lake, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Frazee, Hawley, Perham, and Underwood. And our role as a racially identifiable district is to participate in at least one event with each partnering district or provide one event so they have an opportunity to partner with us. So in last year we did offer a culture fair event in May. We also facilitate ongoing communication and collaboration between all the districts, coordinate when we write our new plans and things like that. So last year, our interactions with our partnering districts, we had 12 activities or events with 6 of the 7 partnering districts. We are going to offer a culture fair again, but probably do it a little earlier in the year, maybe April, so it's not quite as busy for people for attending. And we've also been making a concerted effort to touch base with the districts and start planning right away. So we already have a lot of things going for the 25-26 school year. So students are surveyed then, the students that participate in the events. And that's again where we want to just measure to see if that has made a difference in how they feel with their comfort level, or interacting with someone outside their own demographics. So 84% of the students surveyed indicated that they did have that increased understanding and comfort level with somebody different than themselves, different demographics, as a result of the activity or event that they participated in. So overall, we had to do a kind of an impact statement now when we file our report with the state. And so the one thing that I noted from working with the program, it seems like the emphasis has really gone more from evolved into awareness of similarities rather than trying to understand differences, and people just gaining respect for people that are different than ourselves. And we really believe that the rich diversity that we have here gives our students real world perspective and experiences, and we appreciate being able to share that with other districts in the area. Any questions?
Questions?
The second report that Mr. Korf and I are going to go over is our comprehensive achievement and civic readiness. This is another annual summary report. This again is on last year's data, and this was our world's best workforce prior. So Mr. Korf is going to talk a little bit about some of our district goals and data.
Okay, just a couple things to review before we get into a little bit more of the details of the plan here. Just a reminder of our mission. Pelican Public Schools is committed to providing a variety of high-quality academic, arts, and athletic programs in a unique rural setting. Priorities are community engagement, educate the whole child, increase student enrollment, sound and transparent financial practices. And district goals that we'll touch on through the report is Goal 1, 75% of students are ready for kindergarten based on teacher assessment. Goal 2, MCA reading and math proficiency rates for free and reduced price students will increase by 3%. Goal 3, 100% of students graduating from Pelican Rapids High School have a plan to attend post-secondary education, military, or workforce. And Goal 4, Pelican Rapids High School graduation rate will exceed the statewide graduation rate. A little bit of our demographics, a review of our free and reduced status, and this is from 24-25. At Viking Elementary School, K through 6, 59.1% of our students qualified for free and reduced status. At the high school, 59.2. So district-wide, we're 59.1 of students who qualified for free and reduced status. Breakdown of our demographics. American Indian, we have 4 students. Asian, we have 2%, 19 students. Hispanic, 320 students, 34.4%. Black, 107 students, 11.5%. White, 451 students, 48.6%. Then multi-race, we have 27 students, 2.9%. A bit about our breakdown of our demographics. Go to the next page, looking at MCAs, and this is district-wide compared to the state in reading and math. In MCA reading, District-wide, we were 49.3. State was 49.5, so state average 49.5. District in math, MCA's was 49.3, slightly below state average in reading. In math, we were 47.4 district-wide proficient. State average was 45%, so we were above in math. If you go on to the next page, and what happens here is when you can start breaking it down by grade level, seeing where each grade is at. Across the board, you can look over the years for third grade. So if you look in the top one, Pelican Rapids, this is for Pelican Rapids, all students in reading. You can go across, if you look on the left side, it's grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay? You can follow by each grade, by cohort. So you could start, let's just take grade 3 in 2018. If you just go diagonal, they went to 74.1%. Grade 4, 2020, just a reminder, that was COVID year. Then take the MCAs. Go to 2021, you see the proficiency. 2022, you can follow the cohort. If it's NA, that means they did not take the test that year. Okay, starting in grade 9, they don't take certain tests. 10, 11, grades 12, they don't take any tests with MCAs. Okay? So now we can look at it by cohort, and then we can look across by grade each year. So that's what teachers can see here. The bottom box, same thing with math. Past fall, the last few weeks, teachers at both buildings had broken down, looking at their test scores in more details. This gives you a big umbrella of kind of how we did versus the state and how each cohort did in each grade level. Now, with MCAs, different tests that and they'll talk maybe a little bit about tonight, but over the next few board meetings, they're going to be talking about things that will impact what we're doing, that will hopefully impact, improve learning, will impact our test scores. That's what principals will be sharing at the board meetings over the next few months. Okay? Ms. Winter.
Great, so next page then is just our CACR. Again, that was formerly called the World's Best Workforce. It's created to be sure schools enhance student achievement through teaching and learning supports, and it requires comprehensive long-term strategic plans that address the CACR goals that align with district goals. So it's basically the first one, all children ready for school, all racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed, all students are ready for a career in college, all students graduate from high school, and all students are prepared to be lifelong learners. That fifth one was new as of last year. So if we go to the next page, the first CRCR goal then is all children ready for school. That aligns with our district goal of 75% of students are ready for kindergarten based on teacher assessment. The result for 24-25 was 92% of the students being ready. Some of the strategies were just ELO and school readiness standards, which align to MDE kindergarten standards, work sampling, child-created work portfolios, and classroom instruction based on where class is and then working toward where they need to be. So that goal was met. Goal number 2, CACR, is closing the achievement gap between student groups, and that corresponds with the district goal. Again, this is our MCA reading. This is now proficiency rates for free and reduced students. This coincides with what we had for our achievement and integration, because we do want those goals aligned as well. So again, this is the same thing that we talked about, where our target was 37.2, our actual was 37.9, and we were 5.9% over the state. The next one is the math, and again, that's the one that we reviewed when we did the A&I. So again, our target 32.8, actual 34.2, and 8.4% over the state. The next one then, the CACR 3, is all students ready for career in college. That aligns with the district goals of 100% of students graduating from Pelican Rapids have a plan to attend post-secondary education, military, or the workforce. So 100% of our students did have a plan, and you can see the breakdown on the chart. So that was 51% planning to do the 4-year degree, 6% gap year, 8% technical or trade school, 29% with a plan to go into the workforce, and 6% planning for a 2-year degree. Some of the strategies then are on the next page, how the goals are supported for everyone. There's local business professional career panel that's done in November of every year. There's career expos, there's group and individual planning meetings with Mrs. Lage, and different guest speakers throughout the year. And then the path, the post-secondary education, we offer the college and the school courses. Last year we offered up to 40 college credits. There were college rep visits. Students can do up to 3 college visits per year, and then there's some testing as well. Next to that, you'll see again the plan to earn a 4-year degree or higher. 51% of students had that plan. 6% were going to do the 2-year degree. 8% for the trade school trade program. Of last year's graduates, 23 students earned 3 to 15 college credits. 9 students earned 16 to 30 college credits, and 4 earned 31 or more college credits. The workforce, some of the ways that pathway is supported: field trips to area businesses and industries, CTE classes, Future Farmers of America. So again, there was 29% of last year's graduating class were planning to enter the workforce. 24 of those students completed the CNA class. Of those 24, 17 took and passed certification. 7 completed the EMT class. None had taken certification tests at the time of graduation. 8 completed the CDL course. 1 took and passed certification. 11 completed cosmetology classes, and 107 total number of CT classes that were taken.
So just to recap, a lot of, when we went to the townships, a lot of those township boards wanted classes like this offered, which we're doing. So working with our community and seeing what they're looking for out in the community, I think we're doing a really good job of trying to prepare our kids for different jobs and helping our community out, but also if they don't want to go to the workforce, they have college to go to. And I want to thank all the staff for all their work, and to teach college classes, it takes extra classes for them to complete to be able to teach those classes. So very appreciative of those teachers.
Any questions on that? Okay, if we go to the next one, the CACR goal, all students graduate, which aligns with our district goal of our graduation rate exceeding the statewide graduation rate. So 2024, our graduation rate was 88.5%, and the state was 84.2%. Again, we're always a year behind on that one as far as the data that we were able to acquire. But you can see that the last 4 years, we've been above the state average on the graduation rate. The next page is the CACR number 5. Again, this is that new goal that we're required to do. So our goal is programs and experiences will provide all of our students the opportunity to develop skills for success and promote curiosity, leadership, teamwork, and perseverance. So some of the strategies that we have in place at both schools: continue to provide opportunities to explore interests in the arts, athletics, academics, and leadership through school, after-school student activities, groups, and teams, and also continue to provide art, music, and physical education courses. At Viking Elementary, all students in grades K through 6 will continue with student and classroom leadership initiatives, including student-led conferences, student jobs, morning announcements, school patrol, helping with younger students in the classroom and lunchroom, and opportunities to participate in Leader Me student lighthouse activities and events. At the high school, all students in grades 7 through 12 will compile a Viking portfolio. That'll include milestones and class check-ins, learning class artifacts that they can upload, interests, awards, recognition, participation artifacts, and plans, resumes, career fairs, career expos, and some of their testing.
I think with this goal, when you look at the elementary and you have student-led conferences, that's a lot of work on the teachers of organizing that and working with each student to prepare their own conference. And it's also a big task for the students to do that. It takes a lot of, gives them a lot of ownership, which is nice to see. And if you sit in those student-led conferences at the elementary school, they're really neat. So thank you to all the teachers for all their work with giving kids a chance at the elementary to lead their conferences, take ownership.
Any questions?
Becky, have we, I'm just looking at the goal number 5 there too, have we looked at the SLEDS data in that and just like how students are doing after they leave us? And for example, you know, how many have to take any remedial courses when they get to college? And I'm just wondering, because you have such like number-oriented goals, measurable, if like looking at some SLEDS data might give us some other things to look at their success measures.
Yeah, those are things we can look at as we move forward, because again, this is a brand new one, so that's a good idea. Anything else?
We've had that discussion in our admin team about that, and how do we make sure that information is accurate is one, and then the next one is how can we reach out to our kids to get feedback, just not only what they're doing, okay, or what they completed or what courses they take, but what did we do well to prepare them for college if they went to the college route, and what do we need to do a better job of getting that feedback? We've had some feedback in the past years from kids that went to college, which has been good.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the SLEDS is all through MDE, so I mean, they get the data from the colleges and things, so I would assume it's accurate. Yeah. Like the Minnesota Report Card.
SLEDS is an acronym for.
It is, and I don't know,
Oh.
you can ask me what it is, but yeah, it's an acronym.
Anything else?
Any more questions?
Thank you, Ms.
All right.
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Nelson.
Enrollment, we're still at the 461. PPK is 42. P3 is at 28 and Head Start at 32. So enrollment stays strong. Like tonight, hire Nancy Huseby as a long-term sub for Title I position for a period of time here. Thank you to Amazon. This fall we got a call and they donated $1,500 worth of materials. Told teachers about it. Teachers submitted their request what they'd like, and everyone that submitted what they asked for got it, as well as extra stuff. They went to the Viking boutique for supplies in there, so I was very kind of them to reach out and that donation. And then also Amazon donated backpacks, little backpacks that had 3 books in to all our kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade classes. They pick a different school every year, and we were chosen this year as their school to donate to, so thank you to them. I also want to thank T Farms. They had a very large donation for the milk program, so students who want milk not at lunch or breakfast, but during milk break, that can't pay for it, that they covered a large amount of those. So thank you to them for that donation. It was very kind. September, we had 273 students that had perfect attendance this year. Last year we were at 317. We had quite a few colds and sicknesses going around. this year in September, so perfect attendance was down a little bit, but 273 is still a very good number. So thank you those students and families for being there. We talked about the assessments. Scroll up a little bit, Emily. Our fall reading assessments, as you can see, we'll go down, come back. Yep, right to there. As you can see up above there, we do our teachers in our ABSCESS reading core, first part of the year, help administer these assessments, and then also our title teachers do these assessments, and from the data that we grab from all those helps form our intervention groups. So when our teachers meet, we look at the data, and that way we're able to group students accordingly for intervention time, so we can target exactly what student need. We can group them together and help the students more where they're at, so that individualized instruction. So, and then down below math, kind of the same thing. We use that data for the same for math grouping. So sometimes we wonder if students get test overkill, but I think a lot of these assessments are very quick. They're short. They're not like MCAs that are 2-3 days long. They're short, quick assessments. And like the title teachers, they'll be constantly going over the different assessment with students and keep grouping them accordingly. So Wednesday will be our picture retake day. We got most of our kids through the pictures in our August workshop, back to school kickoff day. But that'll be the day for anyone who was not able to come in that day for students and staff. Friday we have a teacher workshop. And one of the new things with the teacher workshop is with the letters, or the READ Act, is our pairs will be coming in 4 times throughout the year for 2-hour training that is required for the READ Act. And Mrs. Johnson will be the one that will be teaching those classes. She went over the summer, got trained on that, what needs to be presented to our pairs. So they will be, their first day will be on the 31st. Also then on November 3rd, our teachers have our Unit 5 for letters. This is their first unit of the second year of the letters training. And then November 10th is parent-teachers conferences. Like Mr. Groff said, our teachers spend a lot of time getting students ready, getting them prepared, what to say, things, organized materials to present to the parents. And one thing I did forget is November 6th is our Title I bingo, book bingo again at the elementary. Last year we had a great turnout for that, and I think everyone walked out of there with several books. So it's a great family engagement to get families in and get all of them walking out of there with a couple books as well. So, any questions?
Questions? I just want to make sure it's clear with a Friday workshop day and a Monday workshop day. We have to remember that elementary, they have letters training, so every workshop day this year, they have letters training except for this Friday. So last year they requested, could we have a day where we can work on things, grade level meetings, other meetings, curriculum development, grading, things like that. So we found them, that's what we approved last year in the calendar, and that's what we have. It's just a reminder so if people ask, because some people are gonna ask, why are we going Friday, Monday? So.
And it was kind of that date because it's kind of right before conferences to help them prepare stuff for conferences as well.
So it's good for staff.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Januszewski.
Okay, student enrollment, we are at 375. PLC, BLT goal updates. We have 3 that we kind of put together as a school. First one is use information learned from the ancient generation to support students. So 3 of our PLCs are actually reading that in their PLC. So they have a reading schedule and some discussion points. They've had some great discussions that I don't even think they use the discussion points. It's just kind of created some natural discussion as they go. It has had us talk about the phone policy and then how we discuss that with students. And then I will talk about this too. We are going to send out a quarterly newsletter to parents that just kind of highlights in the fall we'll highlight chapters 1 through 3, winters 4 through 8, and then in the spring 9 through 13. Just a way to kind of connect with parents a little bit. Here's what we're reading, here's what we found, and I'll go through that a little bit here later on. Second goal is use assessment data and strategies to increase student proficiency rates. We're really focused on the REACT with this PLC. So the end of October here, we are testing students in grades 7 through 10. We are using the NWEA MAP growth test. Mr. Nelson mentioned the elementary is using FastBridge. This is what we're using at the high school. Our English department adapted new curriculum from HMH, that's for grades 7 through 10, and then our ELL students. Our English department is also working through their English language arts standards and curriculum alignment. They went to a workshop, MEA Wednesday, at Lakes Country, and that was going through the updates of the standards. And so what we're working towards is a standard alignment from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. So that'll take kind of this year and next year to really put together, but I think will be really nice. And then we'll work through intervention strategies based on the results we get from that growth test in October here. And then students that do not meet proficiency standards will then take the CAPT testing, and CAPT will determine if there's any dyslexia for students. Third goal is create portfolio check-ins for grade levels. So Ms. Wanter mentioned that we are working through our student portfolio. This is one that I've kind of mentioned over the years, and we're finally kind of at the point where we are implementing it. So we're going to work through those during advisory times. We added mid-quarter and quarter advisory times this year for students. So we follow an adjusted schedule. They meet with a grade level advisor twice a quarter. Mid-quarter 1, this time we went through grade checks, showed students skyward, what their grade book looks like, just some reminders. We talked about academic eligibility. Grades 9 through 12 went through an actual GPA calculator so we can kind of see what that looks like. And then we highlighted Viking student success. And then again, last week we did another one for quarter 1 to kind of give kids a warning that the end of quarter 1 is coming. So we did grade checks, grades 9 and 12. We did a career fair reflection. And then 11th and 12th graders learned how to address an envelope. A past wonderful practice. The postmaster came in and she did that with grades 11 and 12. Were you part of that? Yeah. So that was good. Hunter Pinky was here on October 8th. He came in the fall workshops to talk to staff. He was back here to talk to students. Did a really great job. I had the pleasure of listening to my elementary kids talk about Hunter Pinky come, and it sounds like he was able to span the ages. It was pretty cool to hear my kids talk about it at home. He had his No Bad Days had 3 main parts. I'm still here, I have a choice, and I am loved. He did a really nice job in that hour he had with students. Minnesota Honor Society, we had some new inductees here in October. Mrs. Lage continues to do a great job with that program. Her guest speaker was Mr. Doug Brueggemann, and he did a really nice job talking about creating your brand with kids. October is also College Knowledge Month. We work to help kids just think about college, so you'll see some of the different activities we have. Mrs. Lage schedules senior meetings. We have grade level newsletters, which I will show you. Our freshmen went to Detroit Lakes for a career pathway field trip. Seniors went to Fergus Falls for a career expo. Students took the PSAT, and then we'll have the ASVAB later on in the spring. And then this year we coined it Care Wednesdays, so that has teachers wearing college apparel, some trivia, and some bingo. CARE stands for Career, Apprenticeship, Readiness, and Enlistment. So just kind of a play on those different options that kids have after high school. I am going to share with you just the newsletters. So there's one for 7th and 8th grade, one for 9th and 12th, and then the Anxious Generation. So I'll let you take one if you like. The first two, Mrs. Lage puts together. So one is for 7th and 8th graders, just kind of a snapshot of important dates. We talk about Hunter Pinky. She talks about Anxious Generation. Remind students of the boutique and the food shelf. 9 through 12, she talks about College Knowledge Month and how it affects each of our grade levels. She mentions NCAA, so if kids are interested in playing sports in college, she talks about that. On the back, she has a really nice checklist for our seniors to sit down with their parents and kind of look through what do my upcoming months look like. She mentions November 1st is the early admission deadline. So just a really nice checklist. She has a QR code for FAFSA. She did go through FAFSA for seniors, I think, during advisory time. So we posted these to Skyward for parents. And then, like I mentioned, the Anxious Generation, we summarized the first 3 chapters for parents. Chapter 1 talks about the rise in adolescent mental health problems. And then each one we give key takeaways and just some strategies to think about at home or talk about with your students. On the back, chapter 2 talks about what kids need to do in their childhood. So it talks about 3 things. Free play, attunement, so having some connection with other people, and then social learning, which is learning by watching and imitating others. And then chapter 3 talks about the kids need to do some things that are a little bit risky, and he talks about discover mode and defend mode, and he really advises that you let your kids stay in discover mode, where they can do some reasonable risk-taking, experience failure, and then learn how to rebound from failure. So we hope parents want to read the book, but if not, we feel like it's a pretty good little synopsis for parents to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about in PLCs and generate some talk at home with their students. Questions about either 3 of those? So this gets posted to Skyward for parents to look at. Let's see here. Upcoming end of quarter 1 is Thursday already. One other thing I wanted to highlight, so on November 10th we have parent-teacher conferences, but November 11th, if you know any veterans, we will host our breakfast and program again on November 11th. A couple of school board or school agenda items. You'll see Stephanie Urbano would like to hire her, or we have hired her as a long-term sub for one of our paras. And then the other thing that is on there is the Florida trip for our high school choir. Right now they plan to leave on Wednesday, March 25th, spend some time in the Orlando area, and return on Monday, March 30th. Ms. Wang would come at a later date to kind of give you more details on the trip. But it looks like an action-packed 6 days in Florida. Questions?
Okay, any questions?
Mrs. J, do we have a flyer or something that we could email to board members that they could share with the details of the veterans program?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
That we could email it to them? And then I'm guessing this is on the website, or will be on the website?
Yeah, and it was in the press, I think Lou also put it in the press too.
Social media too?
Yeah. Ms. Wonder.
I also touched base with Jim Clemenson out of the VFW, so I'm hoping that he kind of helps spread the word as well. He's a pretty good source for us.
Any questions? We're good, thank you. Well, how about a student board rep? Mr. Howland, you got something for us?
In the extracurriculars, the football team concluded their season with a loss to Barnesville in the section semifinals. Both the boys and girls cross-country teams finished their season last week at the section meet in Bagley. The volleyball team was eliminated in the first round of the section tournament with a loss to BBE. The loss came after a very exciting play-in win versus Rotsay. The boys and girls soccer season was also wrapped up. The girls team lost to a very talented East Grand Forks team, and the boys were section runner-ups after being defeated by St. Cloud Cathedral. To piggyback off what Ms. J said, MHS, Minnesota Honor Society added 17 new juniors, and high school students also got to listen to a speaker named Hunter Pinckey. If you're not familiar with Mr. Pinckey, he was a football player for the University of North Dakota, and just before his senior year, he was involved in a skiing accident that paralyzed him. He did a great job telling his story and his perspective on life. Both band and choir have fall concerts coming up in November. And lastly, winter sports have begun with both dance and junior high girls basketball starting their seasons. Any questions?
Was it the first time you addressed an envelope?
I don't hear anything, so thank you. Mr. Martinez.
All right, treasurer's report for the month of September. Overall, pretty busy month. School's back in session. A lot of accounts payables are coming due. State aid starting to kick in. So overall, lots of activity in terms of the business office. In terms of our budget to actual report, you can see that since our fiscal year until the end of September, we have received $2.3 million in revenue out of the $16 million of the projected revenue. That accounts for 14% overall. In terms of our expenditures, you can see they're starting to add up. We're on month 4 of our fiscal year. So far we've accounted for and accrued $2.5 million in expenditures out of a $16 million budget that we approved back in June, for a total of 15.9% of our overall budget. Pretty common. This is where we start to see our expenditures outgrow our revenue, and then we start going into accruals. That's our accounting method. Pretty typical month for the month of September. Okay, we'll go on to our cash flow. So we'll go to the next page. In terms of our investment account, we started our investment account with $5.8 million in our Minnesota Liquid Asset Fund. We received $422,000 in state aid, of which we took out $823,000 from our investment account, transferred over to our checking account to cover our liabilities. At the end of the month, we had $5.4 million sitting in our investment account. We started our checking account with a negative $20,000. We had $1.2 million in deposits, of which $823,000 came from our investments. Total accounts payable for the month were $770,000. Again, very high month with lots of expenditures. Total payroll came to $422,000. Included in this payroll already the new schedules for our paraprofessionals, all of our support staff, in addition to all of our new teacher schedules. So a little bit, again, based on settlements, this is the new reflective cost. Total cash on hand at the end of the month were $27,000. For a total of just a little over $5.4 million cash on hand between our investments and our checking account. Again, very, very, very busy month. We always talk about having a good a good fund balance, and this is what this reflects. Next month, in the month of October, you guys are gonna notice that it's what we call a dry month. In the month of October, we receive no state aid because our levy kicks in. So our levy payment we received on a Friday, and the state knows that, so they don't pay you any state aid. So this is why we like to keep a rainy day fund. Okay. The last of the pages is all of the payables that went through our checking account. So I'm not going to bore you with all those details. That is what we have for the treasurer's report. Mine was short and sweet today. Any questions?
Just a question on, just for conversation, is with the government shutdown and our federal dollars, what kind of impact is that having locally?
MDE put out a federal dollar website where you can see the fiscal impact to your community. For us, we receive two major sources. It is our food service program, so we get reimbursed for meals that we claim against the federal government, and our title program. The federal fiscal budget is a year behind state budget, so for this year, in terms of meal reimbursement and in terms of title funding, we are guaranteed, okay? So federal is on fiscal year 25, we are on state fiscal year 26. Now, with that said, with the government shutdown and uncertainty of what's going to happen, we have no guarantee of the future funding of title programs or what the reimbursement rates for meal programs is going to be. So all the communication that we've received from the state of Minnesota is hold your breath, we're working things out. I think it's going to be a very big year in terms of legislation. I think there's going to be lots of bills to be introduced. It's a big language year because we're in the middle of our biennium, and I think a lot of the bills that are going to be introduced is to help cover school districts for federal funding shortfalls. So, did that answer your question? Any other questions? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Very much support.
Okay, just looking over a few of our district priorities. First one is community engagement. We've had a number of engagement activities with our community this fall. Over the next couple board meetings, we'll be sharing a little bit more detail what those activities were when we're engaging with the community. Increasing student enrollment is another priority. October enrollment for K-12 was 838 students. Again, last May, we ended the school year with 808. Pre-K-12 enrollment, we're at 940 in October, 940 students, pre-K through 12th grade, and we ended last year with 915. So that's good news. So on transparent financial practices, Mr. Martinez every month gives us a report, an update. Also, just so you know, in November, at our school board meeting, we'll have the audit presentation in November. District goals, 75% of our students are ready for kindergarten based on teacher assessment. We had preschool boost in August for students that were in preschool, which is extra schooling for them going into the school year. We'd offer preschool Head Start programming, so please, you could help us out. Sometimes you guys ask, how can we help out? If you hear any families that have preschool age students and they're not enrolled in our early childhood programs, to have them contact the elementary office to enroll their student. This will help get them ready for kindergarten. Hunter Pinky, you've heard a few different principals talk, and Mr. Hovland talked about Hunter Pinky. Inspirational speaker, did a great job with our staff and our students. Elementary theme was Dream, Set, Go. I didn't know, and I don't know if Mr. Nelson, if you both knew that Hunter could entertain kindergarten through 5th grade students. And he did it for about 45 minutes, and he did a phenomenal job of entertaining them and keeping them engaged, not just entertaining them, but also getting a message across. So he did a great job, and he did a great job here. 6th grade actually came over and joined grades 7 through 12 in the Fine Arts Auditorium, and he did a great job with them, and his, like Mrs. J said, it was no bad days. MSBA conference is January 15th and 16th. Please communicate if you plan to attend with Mrs. Evanson here. It'd be nice if you could do that in about a week, 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks. Please let her know if you plan to attend, and if you do plan to attend, please let her know if you're going to stay Wednesday night and Thursday night, or just Thursday night. Okay? So then she can get hotel rooms for everyone. School board agenda items. Few things on here. First one is acknowledge resignation of Alan Evanson as wrestling assistant coach. We want to thank Coach Evanson for all his work and his years of service coaching wrestling. We will miss having him on staff, and I know the wrestlers will miss him too. However, I know that he will come around and help out when he can, so it would be great to have him when he can make it. Approve the hire of Kurt Strom as the wrestling assistant coach, and it would be great to have him on staff. He is currently on staff here at the high school, so he'll be engaged with the students too and helping connect, which will be great. Lane change requests. I want to thank all the staff there who have completed coursework to help improve teaching and learning. So we'd like to have them approved for their lane change. A couple other items, accepting donations. That is a monthly one, accepting donations of people that donate money. Under business items, the resolution for nomination of Lakes Country Service Cooperative Board. Mr. Carter is willing to serve on Lakes Country Board, so we'd like to have him approved tonight so then we can communicate with Mr. Kovacs, the Executive Director, that for his nomination, so to be on the board there. So he's served for quite a few years and has done a great job representing Pelican Rapids and did a great job on the board at Lakes Country. Next item is approve the principals agreement and approve the finance director contracts for them, for the principals and the finance director. The process that we took to negotiate the contracts is Mr. Carter, Mrs. Welch, and myself met with the principals and the finance director to negotiate their contracts. After negotiations with them, the finance committee reviewed the pay and benefits, so we moved forward, presented it to the finance committee, and then they had discussion and are moving those contracts to the board tonight. We have completed over the years, we've completed a market analysis with the area districts to compare our pay and benefits for these positions. We feel we're offering a competitive pay and benefits in these areas. We've done a market analysis with all our non-certified staff and certified positions, and I believe, and we believe, the finance committee believes we're very competitive in our non-certified and our certified when we're comparing them to area districts. So we want to thank them for their work and appreciate all they do for ISD 548, our students, and our staff. So thanks for the work for the finance committee too. Few big rocks coming up. We got teacher workshop. Again, we talked about that, the Friday and the Monday. And then parent-teacher conference were mentioned. November 17th is the regular school board meeting at 6, and then November 27th, 28th, before you know it, it'll be fall break. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Gorf? I don't hear any, so should we move on? So we'll move on to consent items. Item A is approved board meeting minutes from September 17th, 2025, regular school board meeting. B is financial claims, September bills. C is the treasurer's report. D is personnel, acknowledge the resignation of Diana Evanson as high school wrestling assistant coach. Approve the hire of Adriana Marca as Club Vikes student helper at the elementary. Approve the hire of Kurt Strom as high school wrestling assistant coach. Approve the hire of Nancy Huseby as long-term Title I substitute at the elementary. Approve the hire of Stephanie Urbano as long-term special education paraprofessional substitute at the high school. So we have some lane change requests. We have Amy Korf, BA plus 10 to MA plus 10, MA plus 10 to MA plus 20. And the following are moving from BA to BA plus 10. We have Jan Eric Lindberg, Evan Severson, Parker Severson, Madison Tweeten, and Nicole Tweeten. Do we have a motion for the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second by Stacy. Motion by Brenda, second by Stacy. Any discussion of the consent items? Hearing no discussion of the consent items, those in favor of approving the consent items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Consent items carried. Item A is going to be a resolution approving donations. Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brenda,
Second that.
second by Andrew. Okay. Any discussion on that before I read the resolution? Okay. Resolution accepting donations, whereas every such acceptance shall be by full resolution of the governing body adopted by a 2/3 majority of its members, expressing such full terms in full, or such terms in full. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Pelican Rapids Public Schools, ISD 548, gratefully accept the following donations as identified below. Laura Klimek, $80 to student accounts. Laura Klimek, $80 to Viking Boutique. T Farms, $2,575 to student accounts in memory of Jane Troswick. Okay, so this is a resolution. Andrew, how do you resolve?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Yes. Molly?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Resolution carries. Okay, approve the resolution for nominations for the Lakes Country Service Cooperative Board. I'm interested in running again. If the board doesn't want me in there, that's fine too, so, it's your call, but I am interested in running again, so.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brenda,
A second.
second by Greg. Any discussion on that? Okay. And I need to abstain.
I will abstain.
Abstain,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
all right. Okay. So, no discussion? Hearing no discussion, Greg, how do you resolve?
Yes.
Okay, Molly?
Yes.
Brenda?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, resolution carries. All right, you need this? You got it. Okay. Item C, approve the 2026 choir trip to Florida. Who would like to make that motion?
I will make that motion. to
Okay.
approve the choir trip.
Motion by Stacy. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg. Any discussion on the choir trip? So we can get more information in a future meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's closer.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the 2026 choir trip signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Excuse me, nay. Motion carries. So item D is going to be principals agreement for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. So, Mr. Korf, do you want to go over the details on this, or just we should have the attachment in
Yeah.
This is what was emailed out to everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, the increase in salary is the same as all staff, 3%, 3.25%. Continuing ed reimbursement increased to $3,000. Increasing extracurricular supervision pay from 100 to 125, or 150 to 175. Sick leave payout, there's been a sick leave payout for certified staff, and now looking at for principals. And then a 403B match increase to 2,750 and 3,750, so we increased it by 250 each one.
Okay. So this is Molly and I had met with principal and Mr. Corf, other principal. And I guess we felt this was reasonable, so there didn't seem to be anything out of line compared to other settlements, so. Anything else in discussion, or? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the principals agreement for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Andrew. Okay, any discussion on the principals contract? Okay, hearing no discussion on the principals contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Item G is approve the finance director's agreement for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. That's also here, so you want to go over some details?
Yep. Same salary increase of the percent of 3% and 3.25%. Vacation leave increase to 30 days. Continue add reimbursement to $2,000. Pre-tax contribution increase from 20 to $2,500 was $1,500. Increase of life insurance policy. Severance pay upon mutual separation. Retirement based on years of service. A 403B match program. Increased 403B by $250.
And it was the same procedure, Molly and I met, and then, like the principal's contract, I went to the finance committee for some vetting. Felt this was reasonable. That's, I guess, my thoughts on it, so. Molly, you have anything to add, or? So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the finance director's agreement for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Andrew. Okay, any discussion on the finance director?
I do want to bring some discussion points forward, and I just want to clarify that in one perspective, and that just as I have brought in the past questions on contracts, it is about just thinking of long-term impacts, and looking at numbers. And so there were two items that I did have questions on, and that was the severance piece. We talked about, I explained that that's compared to the teacher longevity piece. But when I did the math, and I just said, 30 years in the district, we were looking at a difference of $60,000 between what a teacher would potentially, being in a district for 30 years, gain, and what the severance package would do. So again, and I just focused on, again, what the contract is, the long-term impact, what that could potentially mean for impact on students, 20 years down the road. Also, I don't know how many of us will still be in these roles 20 years down the road. So what are we leaving to the next folks? And then the vacation days also, jumping from 20 days of vacation to 30 days of vacation seems to be something that you would gain those as you go, or having been in a district for 20 years than you would have. And two, just so I did the math, these are approximations, but 20 days of vacation is about $7,700. 30 days, we're at $12,000 a year. And so over 20 years, that would be $230,000 that the district would be putting forward in you know, and supporting vacation days. So I'm not against having 30 days. I just, in comparing with other contracts and things, I think that is something that you, you know, you gain a day every year, and when you've been in a district for 20 years, then there's your 6 weeks of vacation. So I know it was brought up too that there's work done beyond contract times, answering phones and emails and things, and I know our teachers do that too. There's work beyond. So I was having a thinking, processing about long-term impact, and wanted to bring that forward to the board in this discussion. So those are the only 2 items that I had reservations in the contract with.
Okay. Anything else in the discussion? Okay.
Like the severance pay, what is that, or is it a percentage, or it's something decided at that time, or
Yeah, you want to explain that, how that works?
Yeah,
is there something like you follow like the teachers, or?
so the severance pay would be based on 9 months. 9 months of pay.
And that's after how many years?
Mr. Martinez, what do we have in there for years?
Severance pay does not have a years of service component on it. The thing to remember with the severance clause that because my contract is at will, this is a safety measure for me based on my years of service with the district, saying that if the board decides not to extend me an additional contract, whether it's this term or the following term, this would be a safety net for me and my family until I find different employment.
So that brings up though too, like how the language was written in there, what was shared is, because it says upon mutual agreement. So, yeah, so I guess that just, I would need clarification on that too. If it's, what does a mutual agreement mean if it were to be, again, and Mr. Martinez is not, this is just like contract language, not personal at all, so.
Is that the same in the teachers' contracts too?
No.
Agreement?
No.
Mutual agreement would be where both parties agree to be done.
So, and, you know, and other, what was, you know, shared in other severance packages, like paying out so much of, well, kind of like what is in our principals agreement too, like so many sick days above and beyond, or like those are paid out, or vacation days are paid out in a severance, so. Just thinking about long-term impact.
Okay.
And does it set a precedent for other contracts or positions, or where we, will we be looking at language? I don't know legally what that.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay,
Who are the mutual agreement component, who are the parties? I mean, the finance director is a party. And who has the decision-making authority with regard to the other party? Does that require school board approval?
It'd be the school board and the finance director position.
anything else?
So the severance itself would have to be mutually agreed upon. Can I, I'm sorry.
Yeah, good.
So what is the agreement with regard to severance? If this is approved tonight, what is the agreement with regard to severance if something later on would have to be mutually agreed upon? What's the school district bound to?
9 months of monthly pay at that time.
But what would have to be mutually agreed upon?
If it's mutually saying that we're going to not have the person in the position. It's agreed between the two parties saying this isn't working. Then we come to this contract, and the contract would say, in this package, you get 9 months of pay, severance, monthly pay.
So if one party said this isn't working, and there's no mutual agreement, I mean, let's say the finance director says this isn't working, school district says, yeah, it is, then there's no severance afforded to that finance director?
There has to be a reason for why there's a separation between the two parties. Mutually agreed upon.
So if no mutual agreement can be reached, what happens?
Still employed.
How do you force somebody to remain employed?
Great question.
So we're talking, this would be like a retirement or?
Yeah, retirement, severance package, so he says I'm done, retired.
Except for retirement.
It's that, yes. So if he comes and says, you know what, I'm going to retire, we mutually agreed to, when's that date gonna be? Is it going to be a year? It's gonna be 6 months? We can come to an agreement.
So, but that, there's an assumption that there's gonna be a mutual agreement. How do you ever assume a mutual agreement? You can't.
Yeah, but both parties are gonna sit down and saying, here's what we're looking at, either the district or the person in that position. Then we have to mutually agree to, what does that look like?
Okay, I get that you say we have to mutually agree,
You know,
but what if one party does not want to be part of a mutual agreement? What happens with regard to the severance? I mean, the school district can't force somebody to
Correct.
remain employed at the school district.
yeah. So at some point, the person would get the severance package.
Regardless of whether there's a mutual agreement?
You're hoping for a mutual agreement to saying, here's the date. If the person says, I'm going to be done in 2 months from now, we'd have to come up with an agreement. Does that work? Or can we go 3 months? Can we do that? We would work that out with the person. The person would get the severance package. So in this case, there was mention about sick day payout. We're not doing sick day payout with this position. We're not doing that. We're doing a package, severance package like this. We're not doing a sick day payout.
Right, and I'm just coming from the perspective, I think that sick day payout is clearer language to use that as, so. Again, like, probably not gonna be here in 20 years. So, you know, what does this decision, what impact does that make on the folks sitting at this table in 20 years?
You want me to read the section of the
Yep.
contract?
Yep.
So this is the language that's in it. Finance director shall be entitled to severance pay upon mutual separation from the district, comma, retirement, comma, death or disability, comma. Such severance pay shall be equal to 1 month's pay for each year completed as a finance director of Pelican Public Schools for up to 9 months or 50% of the final year's salary. Total payments shall be paid on the last day of employment. Deductions such as state, federal income tax, social security, etc. shall be made only as required by law. Okay.
So like when you said it doesn't include like the sick leave and stuff like that, do we have to clean that up or add anything to
No,
that to
there's
make
no-
that
there's
clear or
nothing-
anything?
There's nothing in the contract that says there's payout
Oh,
of unused sick.
okay.
So that's not.
But that is, it is in the principal's contract. Is it in teachers'
Teachers.
contract?
Yes.
Paid out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just for clarification, the only, are all contracts on the sick day payout except 2 in the district? If this were to be accepted?
When you say contracts, who are you talking about? 2, not?
Well, agreement, like the severance or the vacation days or this, the sick leave payout.
Certified get it,
Non-certified.
non-certified, pretty much everyone gets, it.
I think I'm
Except for-
clarifying, yes, because when we approved your contract, that this was the same language in your contract and as is in this contract, but those are the only 2 in the district.
There's a severance in the principal.
Yes, and the principals have it. It's different.
It's different.
Yeah,
Yep.
but there is a severance. That's John doing that.
It's the sick leave, right?
No?
That's different.
This one's for the principals.
Okay,
The principals have the years of service.
okay, I didn't.
Hey, John, may I say something?
Yep.
So, I'm looking at section 12 of the agreement, I don't know what the name of it's called, the finance director compensation agreement. So I understand the finance director shall be entitled to severance pay upon death. I understand that. Upon disability, I understand that. It also would be payable upon retirement. Is that retirement from the district?
Yes,
Is that to be assumed?
yes.
Okay. And then how about, so those are 3 things where severance pay would be triggered. The 4th one is severance pay upon mutual separation from the district. So if there is no mutual separation from the district, there's no severance pay.
Correct.
Correct, but we're going to work with the person in the position to saying, let's say the person comes to us and says, I don't want to work here. I'm going to do this now. Now we have to come up with an agreement. What does that look like? Is it nothing? Is it the 9 months? Is it, you're gonna keep working? When are you gonna be done? All that stuff has to be worked out.
It'd be great if it all gets worked out. What I'm wondering is what happens if it doesn't? So the separation is not mutual.
Then the clause doesn't exercise.
So what does that mean to the district?
You do not pay the severance. The intent is
So if a
written.
finance director decides to leave
You do not pay the severance.
and it's not a retirement, there will be no severance paid to the finance director. If a finance director, his contract does not get renewed, is that how that works? In this situation, we renew the finance director's
Yes, he has a contract, yes.
So if it's not the finance director who's desiring to leave, but it's the school district, there's no severance paid? If there's no desire of the employee to be no longer working here, and the school district desires the employee to no longer be working here, there would be no mutual agreement to that extent, is that right?
If we're saying that we are like firing the person in the
Right.
position, it's not mutual.
the phrase mutual separation, when it was drafted, was it intended to mean like by mutual agreement? Mutual, would those terms and conditions always be reduced to writing? And that mutual separation would be incorporated into an agreement that gets executed between the school district and the employee?
Are you asking for that to be put in?
No, is that what that says? The mutual separation. So it doesn't say anything about a mutual agreement or anything like that. The mutual separation, are we to assume the mutual separation would be accompanied by terms and conditions that get incorporated into an agreement that gets mutually signed by the school district and the employee?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. So we still have a motion and a second on that table here, so any more discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion, all those in favor of approving the finance director agreement for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say.
I'm just not comfortable with the long-term impact, so I'm opposed.
Okay. Okay, so that carries. We have upcoming meetings, November 17th, 2025, regular meeting at 6 p.m. December 15th, 2025 is a regular meeting at Truth and Taxation. Prepare to stay a while.
John, I'm not sure how many, but November 17th is MREA. I'm not sure if anyone is attending.
Anybody go to MREA? I've never been to one, so.
Okay. It's their
Anybody MREA?
annual summit.
Okay.
I have, but not this year.
Not this year, okay. Okay, December 15th, we'll cover that. So we have a motion to adjourn.
So we'll
Motion by Andrew. What's the second?
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Any discussion on adjourning? All those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say or nay. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.